Good morning, dear friends. I'm so glad you're watching this. It means that in some way you're wanting to join with others in Redeemer to pray this week, to give yourself to extra kind of praying together this week around things that we're facing as a church, around things that are important to us as a church. And I just love it that you're taking part. Thank you so much. I'm also excited this week just to know that God loves to hear prayer. God always hears us when we cry out to Him, but He loves to answer prayer. He loves to, the Bible describes Him as the one who acts on behalf of those who wait on Him. And in prayer, we're waiting on God. We're just bringing things before God, going, God, we're trusting you. God, we're putting this in your hands. God, we just love you. God, we put our hope in you. That's what it means to wait on God. And God acts on behalf of those who wait on Him. God answers prayer so we can pray with real boldness and faith this week. I'd love us also to be challenged around the area of fasting. Prayer and fasting just so often go together in the Bible, and maybe you think, I'm just not a big faster. That's okay. That's okay. It's a spiritual practice that we can all grow in. And so whether it's going one day this week without food and just giving the time you'd normally eat to pray, or whether it's maybe spreading that out, going without food during lunch times, or maybe for a couple of days, however God is stirring you. But let's grow in this wonderful spiritual practice that Jesus taught about of fasting as we give ourselves to prayer this week. Also, join in our prayer meetings. We'd love to pray together through this week as we have been doing, but to give special emphasis in our prayer meetings together this week. Well, today I'd love us to be just worshiping and thanking Jesus for who He is. And so it's starting off the week with praise and thanksgiving. And I'd love to look at Revelation chapter 1 to help us with that. I love the book of Revelation. Some of it's difficult to understand, but I love it in that how it starts off. It describes John, who's by this time an old man. He was a follower of Jesus, a friend of Jesus. He was one of the 12 disciples. And he was the only disciple that we're aware of that lasted into old age. The others all died because of their faith earlier on. But John, now an old man, is on the island of Patmos, and he's just describing this vision that he receives, which is the book of Revelation. And how it starts off is this, Revelation chapter 1, verse 12. I turned around to see the voice that was speaking to me. And when I turned, I saw 7 golden lampstands, and among the lampstands was someone like a son of man. This is, son of man is this Messiah phrase. It was a phrase to describe the Messiah all the way through the Old Testament. So he's saying, I'm seeing Jesus, I'm seeing the Messiah, dressed in a robe reaching down to his feet, and with a golden sash around his chest. The hair on his head was white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were like blazing fire. His feet were like bronze glowing in a furnace, and his voice was like the sound of rushing waters. In his right hand he held 7 stars, and coming out of his mouth was a sharp double-edged sword. His face was like the sun shining in all its brilliance. When I saw him, I fell at his feet as though dead. And then he placed his right hand on me and said, do not be afraid. I'm the first and the last. I'm the living one. I was dead, and now look, I'm alive forever and ever, and I hold the keys to death and Hades, the keys of death and Hades. Today, just let this wonderful description of Jesus stir your heart to praise and worship. Jesus, thank you that you're glorious. Thank you that you're holy. Just bring things out from there. Like, Jesus, thank you that, man, you're so amazing to even stand in front of. Like John saw you and then he fell at your feet as though dead. Jesus, thank you that I can know you. Thank you that I can know your presence. Thank you for your glory and majesty and holiness. Thank you that, God, you were dead, but now you're alive. Jesus, you rose from the dead. And Jesus, thank you that you hold the keys of death. Nothing else has power over you. Just however these things stir you to pray, let's keep our eyes focused on Jesus and worship Him and thank Him today. God bless you, dear friends. Enjoy watching, enjoy lifting your eyes to Jesus and praising Him today.